Hi, good morning, everyone. Good to see you all again. We did not have a recording for last Saturday, because we have our annual fund gathering. Unlike other fund managers anywhere in the world, Capital Dynamics is the only fund manager that would actually conduct physical gathering for all our funds, for all our investors. The physical gathering could be in Malaysia, could be in Australia, could be in Hong Kong, wherever our investors are. We have this philosophy that we want to interact directly with our investors. I think that's the best way to make sure that investors know what we as a fund manager are doing to their hard-earned money. So last Saturday, we had gatherings literally the whole day, from 9 in the morning to about 11 p.m. at night. So because of that, we had to shift our recording. Anyway, it's good to see you all again. I hope you haven't missed us too much, because we miss you guys a lot. And we hope that you like what we're going to share with you today. And before I proceed, I also like to say that we have not forgotten what I owe you. We still owe you 2 videos that we said that we were supposed to do previously. One is the second part about Malaysia's most visionary Prime Minister. We have already recorded the first part, we have broadcast the first part. The second part is to compare the performance of Malaysia's first Prime Minister with the Malaysia's fourth Prime Minister and see who has done a better job for the country. The other YouTube that we owe you is, we have already talked about how Donald Trump's tariff policy could, if the world is unlucky enough, and if China doesn't come to the rescue, where the world economy could see another Great Depression. And we said that after that, we promise you we'll do a recording on the impact on US inflation from Trump's tariff policy. So we know we still owe you these 2 parts. Be patient, we will broadcast them very soon. So the next YouTube video that we'll do will be on 5th of April. Next week we will stop because it's a long week ahead for all our Muslim friends all over the world. So we'll pause for that week and we'll be back on 5th of April. So today we're talking about cooling the planet one EV car at a time. I'm not sure if you're aware that global temperatures in 2024 went past the critical 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold. That is the level set by the global community to make sure that we do not surpass that danger point. In this video, we explore how an electric vehicle like the XPeng G6 stacks up against the traditional internal combustion vehicles, or ICE, in terms of impact on the environment, in terms of efficiency, and something which most people have forgotten, noise pollution. Not too long ago, in our iCapital, we explored the grim realities of climate change. In fact, in our weekly publication, in our iCapital publication, we have constantly come back to examine this, the most serious problem that the world is facing, the climate crisis. Global temperatures are rising, wildfires are intensifying, and our planet is at an irreversible tipping point. The transportation sector, which consists of cars, planes, buses, and so on, is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emission. And this important economic sector continues to fuel this crisis. I believe that global warming and climate change are irreversible. I believe that we have gone beyond the tipping point. This crisis is caused by cumulative emission. Cumulative emission means the emission which have been accumulated ever since Industrial Revolution. In fact, cumulative emission is the single most important cause of climate change and sustained by systemic climate injustice, where the rich and powerful ignore the conditions of the majority of the rest of the world, plus a capitalist ideology that relentlessly prioritizes endless expansion and overconsumption. For example, you have to keep on changing your iPhone. Your iPhone 10 is out, your iPhone 11 is out. You have to keep on changing, even though your phone is still physically in top condition. But because Apple needs to make more money, that's why Apple keeps on launching new models after new models, forcing the world to overconsume. And then just look at how President Trump is destroying the planet. So I believe that while climate change is irreversible, meaningful action by small nations, by large nations, by a single individual like myself, like yourself, can slow the advance. I think amidst this global chaos, solutions do exist. And one solution is the adoption of electric vehicles or EV. The faster we adopt EVs, the better it is. Unlike the ICE vehicles, EVs produce zero tailpipe emissions, and they operate silently, reducing both air and noise pollution. So beyond the environmental benefits, EVs also represent a fundamental shift towards efficiency, sustainability, and technological progress. So this video is to share with you why I recently bought the XPeng G6. It is not just a car. It is a statement. I made a statement of an investment in a cleaner, more intelligent future. The XPeng G6, with its cutting-edge battery technology, AI power systems, and superior efficiency, embodies the transformation the world desperately needs. And let us be honest, I'm not sure whether you feel the same way as I do. There's something deeply satisfying about driving past a petrol station and knowing that it no longer has a hold over our climate. That is deeply gratifying. So before anyone asks, I'm not sponsored by XPeng, I'm not sponsored by the local Malaysian distributor, nor do I get a single cent for saying what I'm saying now. The decision for me to do this video is purely based on research, practicality, and commitment, a strong commitment to a more sustainable future for the whole world, for the future generations. I'm already 71 plus. For me, whether climate change is real or not, in many ways, doesn't really matter. But what about the generation after myself? What about the generation of my children's children, and so on and so forth? I'm doing this, I bought the XPeng G6, I'm sharing this video because it is just being socially responsible. Don't just talk, do it. I've tested Tesla 3. I've tested Tesla Y, I've tested NIO, I've tested BYD and XPeng before. This decision to purchase XPeng G6 was not made in isolation. The urgency of climate crisis demands actions from every one of us now. And the role of transportation cannot be ignored. Climate change, climate crisis, I think climate crisis is a better word for it. It's no longer a distant threat, it's not just a theoretical concept. It is a present reality. I do not know whether President Trump really bothers about this. You look at the facts and the figures. 2024 was the first year where the global temperature exceeded 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial level. And you can see the effects everywhere, all over the world. Look at the diagram on the left-hand side. That is the global surface temperature. That is from 1970 up to 2024. On the right-hand side is a 5-year average, just to make sure that you don't get any odd year out. So it starts from 1850 up to 2024. The trend is absolutely clear. There's no way that you can deny the evidence. And this is how hot the planet is, where this up to 2024, the red part shows you how hot it is above the average. But as what we say, a picture says 1,000 words. And you know, the funny thing is, President Trump, has decided to withdraw the United States from the climate agreement again. He did it in his first term. He's doing it the second time.
That is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
This, I'll show you some evidence of what is happening in Malaysia. The whirlwind in Sekinchan, this was past 2 weeks, tore through paddy fields and several residences. Sekinchan is a small town on the seacoast of Selangor, normally very quiet, very serene. Then temperatures in Kedah soared to 37 degrees Celsius at about the same time. 37 degrees Celsius is where heatwave alert begins. It's very hot. And yet, at about the same time, as March is ending, we are March 21st, 22nd, we are still having floods in Sabah and Johor. I don't think my memory is that bad, but if I can remember, I don't recall Sabah, Johor having floods around this time of the year. Let me share with you the next scary diagram. This is temperature change in Malaysia from 1901 to 2021. The change, the warming is dramatic. I don't think there's any doubt that global warming is here, that the climate change is a climate crisis. The transportation sector is responsible for more than 25% of global CO2 emissions from fossil fuel combustion. So you have to change your car, sell your ICE and buy an EV. It is compulsory. When it comes to air pollution, EVs are better than your ICE. A report by Transport and Environment highlight that this shift from ICE to EV dramatically reduces urban air pollution, making cities cleaner, healthier, and more tranquil. Bloomberg NEF is New Energy from Bloomberg. They found out that life cycle assessment confirmed that regardless of the energy grid variations, EVs maintain a significantly lower carbon footprint than your ICE vehicles. So let me repeat. It is time to stop buying Toyota, the most deceitful car maker in the world. This is from the International Council on Clean Transportation. Also support this, stating that even for cars registered today, battery EVs have by far the lowest life cycle greenhouse emissions. And as the electricity mix continues to decarbonize, the life cycle emission gap between the EVs and the ICE cars increases substantially. The EP, the Environmental Protection Agency from US, said significant advantage of EVs compared with conventional gasoline cars is their energy efficiency. EVs use approximately 87 to 91% of the energy from the battery and regenerative braking to propel the vehicle, whereas your conventional petrol or gasoline cars only convert about 16 to 25% of the energy from gasoline into movement. So this huge difference in energy efficiency has a major impact on the planet's environment. EVs, electric vehicles, also eliminate the secondary environmental costs of the traditional petrol cars. The traditional ICE cars rely not just on petrol for the engine, to run the piston, to fire the piston and the cylinder, but it also relies on engine oil, transmission fluid, coolant, and other petroleum-based products that contribute to pollution. Then, the disposal of these materials add on another level of environmental harm. Whereas EVs simplify vehicle maintenance and significantly reduce toxic waste. There's no more oil changes, no more coolant leaks. Just plug in, charge and go. That's how simple it is, that's how clean it is, and that's how socially responsible it is. As you'll probably be aware, sales of EV cars, of EVs all over the world have been surging, particularly in China. According to the International Energy Agency, more than 14 million EVs were sold in 2023, and in 2024 there was another increase. Of course, we all know that China leads the world when it comes to this environmentally friendly transition. For all of you who followed us, or people who subscribe to iCapital, you may recall that in the 2024 Investor Day of iCapital.biz Berhad, we did something that fund management companies, investment companies normally don't do. We actually invited the local distributor, XPeng, and asked them to display the XPeng G6 in KLCC so that participants of our Investor Day could, take a look for themselves and see if they want to test the EV for themselves. So the head of Burma's XPeng, he gave a presentation on why you should own an EV. I was convinced even before I listened to him. I hope that after listening to this video, thinking about it, going to test an EV for yourself, that you will own an EV. So while skeptics or the anti-EV people were still debating whether EVs were just a transitory fad, we were already driving the conversation literally and figuratively. Malaysia has not remained idle, but the whole country is moving far too slowly. Malaysia targets 15% EV adoption by 2030, increasing to 80% by 2050. It's too slow, and a lot can be done to make the adoption a lot faster. Now with Malaysia ramping up its EV adoption goal, and not just Malaysia, in Australia, in the Scandinavian countries, in China, it is clear that this EV revolution is unstoppable, even though temporary nuisance like Trump's withdrawal from climate change will cause a bit of a disruption but the long-term trend is clear. Companies like XPeng, the Chinese EV car maker, founded in 2014, has been pushing boundaries in intelligent, high-performance EVs. They keep on innovating. They keep on introducing new technologies. A week ago, BYD just announced a battery that can charge 400 over kilometers in just 5 minutes. So, I mean, the EV car industry in China is extremely competitive, which is why we get top quality at low prices, good value for money. These are some of the models that they're selling. Now, the XPeng G6 is often compared to a Tesla Model Y, but it brings features that makes it a much better alternative. You can see for yourself, the G6 enables ultra-fast charging, adding 300 kilometers of range in just 10 minutes, something that the Model Y cannot match. And the driving range is as good as any petrol cars that you can think of. The inside is very spacious. It's more, as I've shared this before, I used to own a Volvo hybrid, the S90, which is the biggest of the Volvo range. The XPeng G6 inside is so much more spacious than even the Volvo S90. It is well designed, full panoramic sunroof, and a cockpit experience that's based more like the modern type of phones, smartphones, or laptops. The G6 is not just competitive, it is a high-tech century on wheels. It is almost like having a self-driving spaceship, except that it does not leave you stranded in space, just like the poor astronauts that were recently brought down to Earth by NASA. Beyond range and efficiency, G6 offers, or any other EV, offers a level of practicality that makes it more than just an EV. It is a mobile workspace, entertainment hub, and a seamless extension of digital life. Because with G6, inside G6, I get lifetime free Wi-Fi. And the connectivity, the Wi-Fi connectivity inside my G6 is so reliable that I can genuinely work from the car. I could even have my VPN connected. In fact, the internet connection in the G6 is actually better than what I get in my KL office. Maybe I should tell my IT people. And something else that needs getting used to with an EV is the sound of silence.
Let me drive you and then let you hear if you can detect any sound from the EV, because it's quiet, unlike the ICE.
You know, traditional cars, noisy, polluting, right? And you have, especially if it's motorcycle, you have the mud rumpit that will brum, brum, brum and frighten you. But with this EV, it is quiet. The first time I sat in the G6, I did not even know that the car has already started. I told my assistant to please hurry up and start the car. And she told me, no, the car has already started. There were no vibrations, no engine noise, just unbelievable tranquility. And then, you know, you can get connected to YouTube, you can switch on, you can watch movie on YouTube, you can get all the music that you want. I think it is long overdue. Long overdue.
Okay. Okay, I'm starting the auto park. I have released my hand. As you can see, the car is moving into the sport It's a very tight spot here. And then there's a Myvi next to me. And it's very tight over there. There's a pillar. And it stopped just at the right place. Conventional key that comes with the car. So if you don't want to use the app, or if you want the conventional feel and touch, you can get the conventional key. Otherwise, you can also unlock or lock your car using the XPeng app. So now the door is locked. Let's unlock. Okay, and let's say if you're in a parking, so I'll get the car to come out. As you can see, there's no driver at the driver's seat. By pressing the reverse button here. Again, you don't have to worry anymore when you're in a tight parking space.
So, despite the benefits, worries still remain. I talked to many Malaysians, and they say that, well, you know, charging is it's troublesome, blah, blah, blah. In fact, some of my staff told me, you know, don't buy because charging is going to be a problem, and so on and so forth. I said, I don't think so, you know. If you look at the facts, the statistics, I think they're as good as, or if not better, than your traditional petrol cars. So after driving the XPeng G6 for weeks, I find that charging is not a problem at all. It's not an issue at all. In fact, if you're driving in the city or in the Klang Valley, it is actually better than driving the normal petrol engine cars. Right? If you're scared, if you want to drive to Johor Bahru, Penang, to and fro, all you have to do is just do a little bit of planning for long distance driving, and you're fine. Because I think this worry about inability to charge because you're in Malaysia, you know, still a very backward EV country. Then you get frightened. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do if my battery is running out and I cannot find any charging stations? It's the same thing with your petrol cars, right? If you don't plan properly, you also will run out of petrol. Now, the thing about this new generation of electric vehicles is that the driving range is incredible. With a bit of planning, and now you can check in the car itself where the charging stations are.
As you can see, you can show where you are on the map, and if you need to look for a nearby charging station, just click on this electric icon. So it can show you what are the nearby charging stations that are available. Okay.
So a bit of adjustment is just like previously, you know, you use a landline, a fixed phone, and then you want to switch to a mobile phone. Then you're wondering, oh, you know, how can I get connection all the time? So just do a little bit of adjustment, change a bit of habit, and I can guarantee you, once you drive, say for example, the G6 or an electric vehicle, you will never want to go back to the petrol engine cars. Never. I can promise you that. We got apps for EV charging in Malaysia now. PlugShare, ParkEasy, Jom, whatever it is. You know, I'm not a fan of app anyway. And then EVs will be cheaper to produce than the petrol cars by 2027, according to the Bloomberg NEF forecast. Nature study, energy study in UK, analyzed UK vehicle, their data in UK, found that the modern EVs now have lifespans comparable to petrol and diesel cars. So don't be worried about long-term reliability. People ask me, what happens, you know, your battery and so on. So I said, look, if I'm buying this EV maybe 10 years ago, maybe all those concerns are there. But all these problems have been solved. And the technology is improving almost literally every day. A 2024 study by the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi concluded that EVs, electric vehicles, should be the first choice for consumers, ranking above hybrids and gasoline cars in terms of cost, efficiency, and sustainability. So this transition to EV is not merely a fad. It is a fundamental shift in transportation and energy consumption, and most importantly, protecting our precious environment. So governments worldwide are intensifying efforts towards net zero emission, except Trump's dinosaur America. So the momentum behind EV adoption can only accelerate. Automakers, investors, policymakers who embrace this shift will be at the forefront of the new automotive era. Deceitful Toyota needs to stop its profit-hungry anti-EV propaganda. If you're curious about what the future of driving feels like, the solution is very simple. Go over to an XPeng showroom, take a G6 for a test drive, see for yourself. Or you can try BYD, Zeekr, or BMW, Tesla, or even now Proton has got one. What is the worst case? Well, you just get to enjoy a ride in a high-tech car. Best case, you book the car and then you drive home an environment-friendly, environment-saving machine that makes petrol stations a thing of the past. Like me, you might end up just booking on the spot. So make your weekends productive weekends and help save the world. Please share your comments, like it, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. What we need is for you to help us send this message across to as many people as possible. So if a 71-year-old guy like me can make a life-changing habit from driving a traditional car to an EV, why not yourself? I'm sure you can do it. So the world is changing. The way we drive is changing, right? It is not just about technological advancement, economic progress. It is about having a sense of social responsibility. The adoption of EVs will continue to rise, right? And I fervently believe that Malaysians must buy and use EVs, and that the Malaysian government must be more proactive in driving this basically do or die campaign. It is time to act and make a positive difference. Thank you, and hope you have a productive weekend. Bye-bye.